The dinner had been going smoothly until Priya's business came up, and the moment it did, the table's energy shifted in a way that made her stomach tighten. It was Rajesh's cousin who brought it up first, casually asking how the little shop was doing, and before Priya could answer, his mother laughed, a short, dismissive sound that cut through the room. "Little shop," she repeated, smiling at the other guests like she was sharing a joke everyone would appreciate. "She sells candles from her garage and calls it a business empire." A few people chuckled awkwardly, unsure whether to laugh along or feel embarrassed on Priya's behalf. Priya said nothing at first, simply continued eating, letting the comments settle into the room the way she learned to let insults settle over 3 years of family dinners like this one. Rajesh's mother wasn't finished, though, clearly enjoying the moment now that she had an audience. "I keep telling Rajesh she married beneath his potential," she continued, addressing his father directly. A man with his position, married to someone selling candles out of a garage. The table went quiet in that particular way rooms go quiet, when everyone senses something is about to happen, but nobody knows exactly what. Priya set down her fork carefully, deliberately, the small sound somehow louder than it should have been in the sudden silence. "Since we're discussing my garage," she said calmly, "you might want to know it's not actually a garage anymore." Rajesh's mother waved a hand dismissively, clearly assuming this was simply defensive posturing. "Call it whatever makes you feel better, dear." Priya smiled slightly, the kind of smile that made Rajesh, sitting beside her, suddenly go very still, sensing something his mother hadn't yet realized. 3 months ago," Priya continued, her voice steady and unhurried, "I purchased a commercial building on 5th and Main." She paused, letting that land before continuing. "The one with the accounting firm on the 2nd floor. Your accounting firm, actually the one you've used for 15 years. Rajesh's father's fork froze halfway to his mouth. His mother's smile faltered slightly, though she tried to maintain her composure. "That's quite a coincidence," she said carefully, clearly recalculating something in real time. "It's not a coincidence," Priya said, pulling out her phone and sliding across the table toward Rajesh's father, the property deed clearly visible on the screen. "I've been expanding for over a year now. 3 retail locations, wholesale contracts with 2 national chains, and yes, that building your accounting firm operates out of." The silence that followed felt different now, heavier, charged with the specific discomfort of people realizing they'd badly misjudged something important. Rajesh's cousin, who'd started the whole conversation, suddenly found his water glass extremely interesting. Rajesh's mother picked up the phone, scrolling through the document with visibly shaking hands, her expression shifting from confusion to something approaching alarm. This says you're the sole owner," she said slowly, looking up at Priya with an expression Priya had waited years to see. "I am," Priya confirmed simply, "which means, technically, your accounting firm pays rent to me now. Has been for 3 months. Actually, though I imagine you haven't seen those invoices personally." Rajesh's father set down his own fork entirely, staring at his wife with an expression that suggested several uncomfortable realizations were happening simultaneously. "Why didn't you say anything?" Rajesh's mother asked, her earlier dismissiveness completely evaporated, replaced by something almost desperate. "I did," Priya said quietly. "For 3 years. Actually, every time you mentioned my garage, my little shop, my hobby, I told you what I was building. You just weren't listening because you'd already decided what kind of person I was." The table remained silent, guests exchanging glances, clearly recalibrating years of dinner party comments they'd witnessed without ever questioning them. Rajesh finally spoke, his voice quiet but firm, addressing his mother directly. "She told all of us, actually, repeatedly. We just assumed she was exaggerating because that's easier than admitting we underestimated her." His mother opened her mouth to respond, then closed it again, unable to produce a defense that wouldn't sound exactly as hollow as it actually was. Priya watched the realization settle fully across the table now, watched years of casual dismissal collapse under the simple weight of a property deed and 15 years of loyalty to an accounting firm that no longer belonged to whoever they'd assumed it did. Someone near the end of the table, an aunt who'd stayed mostly quiet throughout dinner, began nodding slowly, almost to herself. "Good," she said simply, not elaborating further, though the word carried weight enough on its own. Others murmured quiet agreement, not celebrating anyone's discomfort exactly, but something adjacent to it. Recognition, perhaps, respect for someone who built something significant while being dismissed the entire time she was building it. Priya reached for her water glass, unhurried, composed in a way that unsettled the room more than any argument could have accomplished. "I'm not upset," she said simply. I just think it's important everyone understands what they've actually been talking about all this time. She took a sip, then continued eating as though nothing unusual had happened, though everyone at the table understood something fundamental had shifted permanently in how they perceive her going forward. Rajesh's mother remained quiet for the rest of dinner, occasionally glancing at Priya with an expression that hadn't existed before that evening, something between reassessment and reluctant respect. The conversation eventually moved elsewhere, though the shift in dynamic remained palpable, everyone now acutely aware they'd spent years underestimating someone who'd simply been too composed to correct them loudly. Months later, family gatherings felt different, quieter in certain ways, more careful. Priya never brought up that dinner again, never needed to, having said everything required in under 5 minutes while continuing to eat her meal calmly throughout. Somewhere in the aftermath, Rajesh's mother finally understood what Priya had known for years, that some people don't announce their worth loudly because they're building something too substantial to need immediate validation, and eventually, quietly, undeniably, the truth simply speaks for itself.